right, this is a new video from Second Thought. Why corporate America hates unions. Let's take a look.
American workers are unionizing, and big companies will do just about anything to make sure that doesn't happen.
Starbucks workers in upstate New York who voted to unionize for the first time in the face of strong opposition from management.
The union says the deal includes pay raises of up to 66% over 2.5 years.
A historic vote in New York City.
Let's fucking go.
Workers at an Amazon warehouse in Staten Island will unionize, a first in the U.S. in Amazon's 27 years.
It's a great time for unions right now. The win rate for union elections is steadily rising.
Holy cow. Steadily, I mean, that's meteoric. 53% in 2000, 76.6% today. That is awesome. Holy cow. What the hell happened in, the market, the Great Recession. We picked up here. Not bad. Oh, man. 2016, Trump elected. 2018, Dems take the House. So, interesting. How you can kind of map it by certain events, you know what I mean?
Strikes are up from last year, and public support for unions is steadily rising. Strikes are up from last...
Dude, you are putting it mildly. Strikes are way the fuck up. Let's go, dude. The thing is, you can't post, like, record profits and then, like, not pay your employees more. Like, at minimum, a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Last year, and public support for unions is at a 57-year high. While unions only represent a relatively low 10-ish% of the workforce,
that's still pretty good for a country that is so against, like, socialism and, like, workplace democratization, period. The fact that it is 10% is solid.
A union worker, all else being equal, meaning same education, occupation, and experience, makes 13% more than a non-union worker. And over the course of an entire...
Like, how do you see that and not just go, unions are good for the worker? Like, the company will not, like... I wish they show a statistic of, like, how many companies, like, went under with, it being directly tied to their employees unionizing. I would bet that number is... if not zero, very close to zero, which is telling us your employer could pay you more and the company would still function.
Basically, your employer, seeing that unionization is possible right next door, is likely trying to avoid it happening at your job by increasing your wages and/or benefits in anticipation. Everybody wins. And it's not hard to see why someone working at, let's say, Amazon might want to join a union.
Including the employer, you know what I mean? In the long term, because you're going to hire better talent and you're going to retain that talent and they're going to want to work harder for you. That's the kicker. When people are paid more, they will be more productive, period. But companies can only think in the short term. This is a byproduct of capitalism, our current form of capitalism. Companies can only think in the short term. They can only think of what the number is at the end of next quarter's profit margin. That's all they can think of.
It's not only about the statistics. When a company feels comfortable forcing its employees to work past the point of safe evacuation in a tornado, thereby leading to the death of 6 workers, and threatening its workers to go back to work when they stop because of a warehouse fire, and generally can't tell the difference between these two things, having a union...
Having worked for certain companies that I'm not going to name, I can say that the water bottle thing is true, okay? Sorry if that's TMI or whatever, but it's fucking true, which is why we need better regulations, 1. 2, we need more workplace democracy. We need it to be encouraged because the employees know how much they should be getting in terms of, say, a benefit like bathroom breaks, whereas the corporate overlords, all they can think of is their bottom line. They do not give a single tiny fuck for the employee. You know who does care about the employee? The employee, which is why employees need more say over their workplace environment, over their working conditions. It's a fucking no-brainer.
So, as you might expect, the surge in collective organizing has come with a corresponding surge in union busting. Big business owners aren't ready to let go of all the power
So
they've
messed
accumulated during the neoliberal era, so they're fighting back as hard as they can.
Dude, Starbucks, fucking Seattle. Like, I gotta rep Starbucks. I gotta rep Amazon. We do have a lot of, not a lot, obviously, but we do have some good companies that exist under this capitalist system. Can I even name a few, though? Like, I know Costco generally treats their employees better. You know what? Under capitalism, it's all on a curve. So I know Costco, which is a greater Seattle area based company, they treat their employees well. REI, I think, is a Seattle based company, but like the big ones that are in the news right now are obviously Starbucks and Amazon, and they are absolutely messed up when it comes to how they treat their employees and how ferociously they fight against any sort of inkling of workplace democracy, which should tell you, the employee who's thinking about democratizing their workplace, that you should democratize your workplace. Your employer is not fighting that hard to protect you. They're doing it to protect themselves.
For starters, just to give you an idea of scale, US businesses spend $340 million a year on union avoidance advisors.
Dude, that should tell you everything you need to know about how much employees could be getting more. Instead of spending that money and using it to, like, increase wages or hire additional people to creating more jobs, two, like helping the current workers by alleviating some of their stress. Think of how many like solid $60,000 a year jobs, right, are being thrown away because they're union busting. That money plus more, I guess technically, would be spent on those employees already. But still, it is an absurd number to just throw out there.
And that's assuming businesses even get caught. Because the NLRB, the institution in charge of enforcing these laws, is completely overwhelmed and can't possibly monitor every employer's illegal union busting. Funding for the NLRB has not budged in the last 9 years.
Dude, we will give the military an extra like $100 billion per year without blinking an eye. But like funding a labor rights organization for just like $250 million, we won't even think about it. That is absurd to me. God, we are just terrible to labor in America. I don't get it.
And just so you know what to expect if this ever happens to you, anti-union messaging almost always relies on the same arguments. A good chunk of them are baseless appeals to emotion. For example, your boss might say that a union will ruin the family vibe at work. Or lie and tell you that the union will ask you to engage in acts of violence, or that come strike time, a union won't.
It's like we've organized and collected ourselves and we've worked together. Like, that's gonna ruin the family vibe? That is like creating more of a family vibe.
I mentioned at the beginning of this video that this episode is made possible by...
This is a good video overall. I would have liked to have heard a little bit of, like, what are the arguments that, like, I don't know, like, not even just companies, but, like, normal people give. Like, talking heads maybe. Like, why are some people against unionization? Like, he mentioned the union dues thing, which is so easily, like, discountable. But what are some other reasons why why people on the side of not unionizing, like, what are their arguments? Like, one thing that could stand out immediately would be like, well, if you unionize, that means we're going to have to pay you more, so we can't have like less profit at the end of the day. So we'll have to just raise our prices. This is another thing you can discount pretty easily. But stuff like that, like, I think would have been kind of interesting to hear in this video as well. But overall, very good second thought. Love your stuff as always. I should probably subscribe on this account. This is my new account for this new channel. which is why I haven't subscribed, but I've subscribed now. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you should subscribe to my channel.